Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, good afternoon, rather. Sorry. Scott, after the game last night, you mentioned, the three areas that all added up to a 200-foot problem. With respect to today, just kind of watching things, was there any emphasis put on one of those 65-foot problems over the other?
If you watched the practice, we worked on our breakouts, but that's not anything we didn't do last week. I mean, it's something that has to be hit every day, like our specialty teams. A little bit of flow. Some of those drills have flow to them, as kind of us jumping and getting through the neutral zone. There's some kind of the other one had some line rushes with it. So I wouldn't say there was anything specific today. It was just kind of because of the schedule. We're only going to go 30 minutes. Try to hit as much as possible.
When you're picking your poison like you are right now at this stretch of the schedule with the degree of difficulty that you have, what kind of problems over that 200 feet do Dallas represent the most from how they're playing this year?
Yeah, they're a team that doesn't. Their highs and lows aren't. I guess they don't have a lot of highs and lows. They're a pretty even-keel team. They just about how they play. They defend kind of. They have structure. They do that, but when it comes to their breakouts, they're good at it. They're pretty predictable, but they're really good at it. They've been doing it as a group for a while. How they take away your ice through the neutral zone. They have good speed on their counters through the neutral zone. Offensively, they haven't changed. For the last 3 years I've been here, they continue to do the sort of the right things all the time, and they're a team that. There's not a whole lot of surprises coming out. Maybe a couple new faces in their lineup, but other than that, it's what Pete's going to do with his group is the structure that's coming, and it's pretty consistent. And they're very, very patient. They're not going to get caught up in a trade chances type game. They're going to kind of force you to make mistakes, and they'll try to pounce on those. And I think we've had good success against them. We've had good games against them, but it's about being smart and patient as well.
Scott, why is it a bit important for you to be honest after games? Maybe to us, maybe to the fans and all that. Just the way that you've assessed some of the games, even if you've won or there's been some not negativity, but critique. You haven't held back at times. Why has that been important to you?
I think it's part of you guys are going to ask me if I don't answer it last night, you're going to ask me today. So I think it's at the end of the day. I need to answer the question. So,
right.
But I think that there's not. I'm not giving you all of our secrets. I'm not giving you all of what is said. And at the end of the day, you guys are watching the games too. You guys are seeing what's going on. So, but I try to first and foremost that I talk to the players about it. They know first what's coming out of my mouth and how I maybe felt about win or loss, and so it's just trying to. I don't think there's too much that you can hide in this game now in this day. So it's just, it's kind of how I handle it right now.
How difficult is it as a coach right now to sort of keep it kind of even-keeled? You're 13-1, but some of the games haven't been won the way that you want. Maybe some of there's one loss so far. But how difficult is that to kind of not be too critical, or maybe you don't have to do that? I don't know. How do you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing you got to remember is it's the 82 games is that you're going to win games. Some maybe you don't deserve. You're going to lose some that maybe you don't deserve. But you can never, you can't be critical when you get 2 points. Yeah, it's extremely hard league. Everybody's going through what we're going through when it comes to scheduling. When you can build points like we're building now, putting stuff in the bank, it's so important. Road's going to get heavier. It's going to get tougher, and just in the sense of just kind of trying to stay with what we do. And honestly, I know it gets repetitive, but as fast as what happened last night, like we're on to Dallas now, and it's as much as some of the things that I liked and didn't like last night, we got to move off it. We got to get on to the next one, and that's the part for me where the players have been really good about parking stuff. We do our review. As a group, we do it as lines sometimes. We do it with individuals, but then we move on. Now it'll be all about Dallas.
Scott, yesterday in the third, when you changed up all four lines, some may view that as that's a bold move. You guys are winning the game. You don't often see the coach maybe shuffle the deck quite like that, but to your point, it obviously goes to, some things you were seeing that you weren't liking. But when you make a decision like that, like, is part of you thinking, oh boy, this could backfire because we're winning? And so it seems like a bit of a bold move, but does it speak, I guess, to how it's process over results in a way, and you want the process to be right?
Yeah, I don't like. I mean, with the players, they know. Like, I tell them that it's coming, and it's not like and it's sometimes it's just to get a reset. Sometimes it's just to get a quick spark. Sometimes it'll last for 2 shifts. Sometimes it may last the period. Sometimes it happens because guys' skate blades get broken or whatever it is. Like, it's all kind of sort of just a feel for it. I think that, I've watched and worked with a lot of good coaches, and I kind of saw how they've handled situations. I think I said to you guys at the beginning of the year, I'm not big on changing lines a lot and really trying to sort of get players away from each other all the time where their chemistry isn't built. So, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of a feel where we're at. I think there's been games where kind of sort of maybe the same thing has happened. I've just stayed with the lines and let them kind of play themselves through it. Sometimes it's just getting a feel for kind of, is it going to come back? Are they going to get that maybe tonight? They may not have it tonight. Maybe just try something quick.
Borrow sort of an excellent question Kelly had asked Mason Appleton just in the room. That 10% moniker gets thrown around. You were asked the other day, how do you measure 10%? You look at last night's game, there's a bunch of little plays, as Kelly mentioned, whether it's Nino Niederreiter hustling to break up that or to negate an icing. I think Neil Pionk made like a diving kind of poke check of a puck that might have otherwise been a really good scoring chance. Lots of little plays like that. Are those part of what you talk about, just those hustle plays that don't show up on a stat sheet but are big plays in the grand scheme of it?
Yeah, for sure. I think that, especially a game like last night where it's 1-0, you do that first 5 minutes of the game. I mean, we scored on the first shift, but we do that in the first 5 minutes, and maybe it's somebody's, exactly what you said, stopping a goal from going in or giving us an offensive chance. It's a 1-0 game. It saves that situation, and so if you have 20 guys doing that, that's kind of the mentality that you're trying to build. And like I've said, we're trying to build this to be a consistent thing throughout the season that moves on into the playoffs. So, to see all those things, those guys, the best part is those guys see it amongst each other. You hear it on the bench, you hear it in the room when guys do those things, and that's that part of that growth that we're getting.
Just picking up on the Mason Appleton note, I feel like a lot of the times we ask you about him, and it's part of the line. We're always talking about the line. I'm wondering what sorts of things he does, whether it's his versatility or certain plays that you as a coach feel safe about him that make him such a reliable player for you.
Yeah, probably the first thing is chemistry, those 3 guys. Just the way they kind of work together in unison. I really see it when they go to dump the puck in. It's amazing how many times they get the puck back, or whether it goes to Apple bumps it back to Nino, or they find Lau. Just his ability to read his centerman, read his winger. I think that he's a guy that, like I've said about Lau, I've said about Nino, is that you look down the end of the bench, you're pretty sure you know what you're gonna get each and every night. So it takes a little bit of the weight off of what the expectations are, and he's just he's a guy that knows what his role is another big area for me. He knows what he's good at, and he tries to play to that level every night, and he does a good job of it. And he's that line, the zone time that line gains is because each and every one have their own little part to play.
There's one specific Appleton play from last night I wanted to ask about too. I think it was in the third period. It was in your zone for a while, and he's got a guy on his back. He's on the left wing for us, and he finds an outlet as he's falling, being taken at the ice. He finds the outlet to the middle of the ice in front of the net, and nobody else is there but your D. So it releases the pressure. Everybody goes on. It's like, how does a guy see that in that situation, or how does he make that play?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that he saw it. I hope that it wasn't blind. But I do think that maybe, I don't know, I kind of got an idea of the one you're talking about, but maybe the defenseman was talking to him and telling him, that he was there. But that's IQ of hockey players too. It's that, feeling the pressure, feeling where that guy is on top of you. What is your outlet? Is it up the wall? Is it to the middle? That's just those guys that have played this game for a while and feel where, kind of get that sixth sense of where the next play is, and that's and they make the game look easy sometimes.
I know your focus is on the day-to-day here, Scott, but you've several players, and you've referenced Four Nations. I mean, also someone who saw what it meant for Dale's career to play in the Canada Cup. I mean, what could it mean to play in best on best when they bring that back to their team at the end of an event like that after being with the cream of the crop in such a high-pressure environment?
Yeah, that's playoff hockey in February. You know, that's playing at an elite level against elite skill, and those are experiences that, you know, that we're hoping that they come back with, that they're going to, like you mentioned, pass on to their teammates, their line mates, their partners. When they're in those situations for the rest of the year, February on, they've been in it before, kind of at that level, and they can continue to, you know, to be good at it, continue to show others how they do it. And, you know, when you have top players like that, you know, kind of having that desire to win, that's what you want within your group. And the more that have it, obviously, the better it is. Oh.
I just wanted to ask specifically, you know, if we're talking about Four Nations, what you're seeing from Mark Scheifele, and if you think that how he's playing right now could be a help to that roster if they were to turn their eyes in that direction.
100%. I really do. I think that, you know, I know that there's a bunch of, with Canada, there's a lot of centermen that they're talking about. I still think, I look back a few years ago, he went to the World Championships. I think he went over there as a third or fourth centerman, ended up playing and working his way up to the top. He has experience. I think that, you know, his skill set is, I know that where he's being watched, and he's being watched hard, and as is Adam Lowry, as in Morrissey, as in KC, obviously Helly. There's lots of guys that are being looked at, and I think that with Scheif, that, you know, he's taken pride, not just these first 14 games. It's been, you know, he's the buy-in to how we play out the puck and what he does when he doesn't have it. That's also part of what, if whoever's sitting watching him, they're watching him on a nightly basis, you know. And so, you know, face-offs, you know, whatever that role becomes, penalty killing, whatever it is, power play, second power play, you know. So obviously when you get on those teams, minutes change. So it's an opportunity for him to, you know, just to continue to showcase his skill set.
If you're okay with me just adding to that question, clearly center depth is something that they have a lot of on that team. Your thoughts just on his ability to play on the wing or play with some of the other stars you know are going to be on that team?
Yeah, I think that's what one thing about when you go to these situations, everybody wants the chance to go, so they'll play anywhere. They'll play with anybody. They'll, whatever the role's handed to them, it's just the chance to play, and for him to represent Canada, or it's the U.S., or whichever team it is, to have that honor. Guys will do anything, and I think that just comes with the professionals that they are.